After a tire has been inspected and all injuries have been marked, it's ready for buffing. Buffing is the process by which all of the old worn tread is removed, preparing the tire casing for the application of a new tread. Buffing also trues up the tire casing. To begin the buffing operation, the operator uses an overhead tire lift to mount the tire onto an expandable hub. Next, the tire is inflated to its normal running shape to ensure it is buffed to the correct profile and radius. Look up the settings for a specific tire in Bandag's Tire Facts manual. They are designed to ensure that the final Retread product provides peak performance. Be sure to check the expandable rim number, tread size, whether standard or ECL, radius, trim angle, cut depth, measure left shoulder, crown, or right shoulder, and finished buffed circumference. Next, make all of the required settings for the buffing equipment that is to be used. Before starting the buffer, it's important to visually inspect the tire again, confirming that it's a good candidate for retreading. If there are any stones or objects remaining in the tread surface, they must be removed to prevent potential injury and damage to the machine. In addition, you'll want to make sure that the pollution control system is on and functioning. It provides a steady stream of water to the rasp blades, which prevents excessive heat buildup on the tire as the tread is shaved off. Finally, with the tire rotating, confirm that it is properly mounted on the correct expandable hub and inflated appropriately. At this point, you're ready to start buffing. When you start to buff the tire, always start at the highest spot on the crown of the tire. This helps ensure that the buffer is not overloaded when attempting to buff from a low spot to a high spot. Buff across the crown in one direction all the way to the shoulder. Then move to the opposite shoulder and repeat the process until all of the tread design has been removed. Next, make a pilot skive to check for the proper undertread depth. Locate the belt package. Then use a tread depth gauge to measure the thickness of the undertread. This is the rubber between the base of the tread design and the outermost ply of the belt package. If more than 5/32 of an inch of undertread remains over the top ply, you will need to continue to make buffing passes until you reach a maximum of 5/32 of an inch of undertread, and make sure you leave a minimum of 2/32 of an inch. If too much undertread is left on the casing, it's very difficult to skive the casing. Excessive undertread can also cause too much heat generation when the tire is in use and lead to a retread failure. Conversely, not enough undertread can negatively impact the bond between the casing and the new tread. Additionally, the final buff texture or the roughness of the buffed surface must be a RMA 3 or 4 to meet Bandag's high-quality standards. You can check the texture by using the RMA texture chart. These textures were found to result in optimal bonding characteristics. Be sure to check the texture of shoulder, crown, and any skiving area to make sure they are in conformity with the PSMR standards. Once the tire has been buffed to the proper undertread depth, turn the pollution control off for one final pass with the buffer. This gives the water that is sprayed onto the buffing blades and the buffed surface time to dry. Be sure to check for the proper tread size using the tread base ruler. If an incorrect tread size is applied to a casing, it can cause excessive stress on the casing, causing it to fail in service. The final step in Bandag's buffing process is the shoulder trimming for conventional top treads and shoulder contouring for ECL treads. For conventional top treads and when using a manual buffer, carefully swing the rasp into the tire casing until the shoulder trim is even with the laser light and has the correct trim angle. The trim angle, the angle at which the shoulder should be trimmed in order to perfectly blend the pre-cured tread, can be found in Bandag's Tire Facts manual. Be careful not to trim too slow, as this may scorch the rubber. Also, Be sure to notice if a tire has a worn low shoulder, because the buffer may not be able to reach all of the low surface area. When using a manual buffer to contour the shoulder for ECL treads, the rasp needs to be rotated slowly around the shoulder to the bottom edge of the skirt area of the casing. Rotate the rasp pedestal back to 0 degrees, where it will lock. When using automated buffers, your machine will do this for you. After trimming one shoulder, repeat the process for the opposite shoulder. Again, check for a minimum of 2/32 of an inch to a maximum of 5/32 of an inch of undertread over the top plies. Buffing is a critical step in Bandag's retreading process. As the foundation of a house must be square and true, a casing circumference must be true round in order to perform well as the foundation of a retreaded tire. Attention to detail throughout the process ensures a better-looking retread in the end and, more importantly, a better value for our customers.